Welcome to the shop. Steve here at SKS Props, and in today's video we're going to be putting together a chibi style Baby Yoda mask. Why? Because Mandalorian Season 2 is right around the corner, and don't you want a Baby Yoda mask for your Mandalorian watch party? Of course you do. Now this guy is made completely out of my HD foam, which you of course can find over at Blick Art Materials, and this is a super simple build, especially with the free templates that you can download from my website. This is the kind of build you could do yourself, or I would love to see you build this right along with your kids. I want to show you guys the steps that it takes to put Baby Yoda together. We got a lot to do, so let's get started. So before I get too far, I do want to point out I have a special guest in the shop today that will be helping me with this build. And if he behaves himself, he's going to get chicken nuggies. The first thing you want to do is download and print off the template for this mask. Now there are two different versions to download, an oversized head and the regular one. The template will also come with a little drawing to show you how to put it all together. Next, I transfer the templates onto some 6mm HD foam with a pencil. To cut these patterns out of the foam, I of course use my utility blade, that is, after I found it. Now I would recommend to sharpen your knife before each project and make sure to press all the way through the material into your cutting surface. The cuts on this are a little rough, but that's okay because I plan on smoothing them out and cleaning them up with a rotary tool. A medium grit sanding drum is used at first to refine the shapes, and then I switch over to a smooth bit to round over all the edges. 2mm HD foam is going to be used to create the details for this mask, and I'm going to start off with the ears. The ear details are transferred and cut out, and then lightly traced around so I know exactly where my adhesive goes. Some super glue is used to tack this piece into place. Now there's a slight overhang with the 2mm foam, but I'm going to make that flush with my rotary tool. And once again, the smooth sanding drum is used to round everything over. Moving on to the other face details, these templates are also transferred onto the 2mm HD foam. These pieces are all carefully cut out using some shears. You could also use a utility knife to cut out these smaller pieces. Before I glue on these details, I want to attach the ears, and to do that I flip the mask over and lightly mark where the ear needs to go. Bob Smith superglue is used to attach the ears, and for placement I'm referencing the small illustration on the template. After the adhesive on the ears had cured, I can move on to the nose. I line up and attach his nose with some superglue slightly below his eyes. His eyebrows are also traced around and then glued on so I can line them up properly. Now these are just simple expressions that I put on the template, but feel free to make ones of your own. In this case, I gave him a tiny little smile. Now this next step is not a necessity, but it's something I wanted to do to give the mask a little curve. I took two 1-inch strips of 2mm foam, and while the mask was curved, I glued these into place. This will make sure the mask doesn't go flat. To finish it off, I did a light heat treatment over the entire mask to get it ready for paint. Done with the fabrication side of my Baby Yoda mask, and I'll say the build on this one was a little more difficult when my tools kept missing. To start the painting process, I'm going to be using a mixture of Plaid FX Blizzard and Smashing, and applying it with a 1-inch flat brush. I want to take this opportunity to thank all my Patreon supporters and those of you that have been purchasing my line of HD foam from Blick Art Materials. Now if you are buying from Blick, be sure to go through any of the links that are in the description section or those that are on my website, because I do receive a small vendor affiliate and that greatly helps this channel. So thank you guys for your continued support. For the pink of his ears, I'm going to be using the FX brand Enchanted, but I'm also going to mix in a little bit of the Blizzard to give it a lighter hue. This paint was also applied with the flat brush, but because it's not as opaque, 2 coats and a little bit of help were needed. To clean up the edges of the foam, I used the paint mixture and a small detail brush. For the facial details, I'm going to be using the FX Color Smashing, but without the Blizzard mixed in. After all the paint was applied, I gotta say I'm pretty happy with how this mask is turning out. Now because the eyes are huge, but I still want the ability to see out, I'm going to be using some of this black chiffon cloth. This cloth is cut to fit and will be attached to the mask using my Surebond hot glue gun. To attach this piece, I would recommend to start in one corner and then slowly work your way around the eye. Now one thing to note is I'm using a low temp hot glue gun, so it's not going to burn my fingers. After that's complete, the same process is done to the opposite side. Once the hot glue is cooled, you can cut away any excess material. You can see what a great job this does covering the eyes. I'd like to give a little bit of character to these eyes, and to do that I'm going to be using some circles cut out of 2mm HD foam. Hot glue is applied to the back of these simple highlights and it's just stuck directly to the cloth. It's a very quick part of the build, but adds a ton of life to the mask. To make this mask wearable, I'm going to be using a strip of elastic that has been cut to 12 inches. This elastic is glued on either side of the mask, slightly above the eyes. To make this mask comfortable to wear, I'm gluing a block of upholstery foam right around the forehead. As an additional reinforcement, two thin strips of 2mm foam are super glued over the hot glue. This double adhesive method will make sure the elastic does not pull away from the mask. Once cured, this mask is ready to wear.
So you guys can see the steps that it takes to put together your own chibi-style Baby Yoda mask. And this is the kind of build that's going to be perfect for your Mandalorian watch parties. Now, if you guys are building any of my builds or using HD foam, be sure to tag me at SKSProps on Twitter and Instagram because I want to see your creation. And don't ever say that I'm not a man of my word. Those are for you. You did a good job today. So hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos, and if you are, give them a thumbs up, share them with your friends and family, and until next time, this is the way.